which is terrific. I'm Amy Samari. I'm president of the Library Board of Trustees, and I would like to welcome everyone to the meeting. Can we start with the roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell?
Here.
Trustee Gala is absent. Trustee Kelly?
Here.
Trustee Meadow?
Here.
Trustee Rule is absent. Trustee Zick?
Here.
President Samari?
Here. All right, if we could stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I would like to see, is there any public comment tonight? I see we have some guests. Any comments, or are you just here to check out a meeting?
Check out a meeting.
All right, we will show you good government at its best. And just so you know, you can watch our meetings. We broadcast all of them live on the library's YouTube channel, and we also make that available in case you miss it. You can watch it the next day or month or year. So we're very open and transparent here. So the first thing on our agenda is liaison reports. We have two fundraising groups that help the library. One is the foundation, and they fundraise for larger appeals. They helped us with a lot of the equipment for the Maker Place, and now their next project is they're going to help us be able to buy a new bus, bus for the library, which is terrific. And we also have a scholarship that they help us with. They sponsor a trade scholarship, and they offer that to anyone who lives within the library's, area. So a lot of Harper College, 214, 211 local. So, but it doesn't seem like, so that's the foundation. We also have the Friends of the Library. The Friends have our fabulous book sales, and they raise a lot of money for us that way. Mike Driscoll is our executive director. Do we have any reports from our liaisons?
We do not have reports from liaisons tonight.
Okay, very good. All right.
President Soren,
Yes,
could I make a motion
yes.
to move up item 6, one book, one village wrap up to this point in the agenda?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So we're changing our agenda a little bit because we have a fabulous presentation from some of our staff, and I want everyone to be able to hear it. So we are ready for you.
Wow. Thank you for moving us up. That's so kind. It doesn't have to be.
You see, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Hi, my name is Sherry. I'm a reader's advisor here at the library, and I was one of the leads on this year's One Book, One Village. And we're here to present to you our closing of the 2023 season of One Book, One Village, and tell you a little bit about the initiative and the outcome. So it's been a decade. In 2023, we celebrated 10 years of One Book, One Village. We continue to support the overall goal of bringing the Arlington Heights community together around the same book while creating opportunities to gather for discussion and shared experiences. Catherine Dell West and Two Lives of Sarah had a profound impact on our community and brought people together through food, music, community partnerships, and engaging discussions. We are proud of this year's success and will share with you the different ways the book engaged, enlightened, and educated our community.
I'm Cindy Hammond. I'm the collection supervisor. I was looking out to serve on the OBOB committee this year. There you go, sorry. So this year for OVOB, we saw 1,900 circulations between the two labs, Sarah and Saving Ruby King. This is a really great number for us, and as you'll see on the chart, about a quarter of the circulations came out of the material. But as we dug into the numbers, something that we found very interesting is approximately 50% of our circulations this year were either e-material or books we gave to book groups, which really showed how this title resonated with our entire community as they continue to change how we borrow material from us. We're still hitting those book groups as well as e-material. So it's something I'm doing that was the presentation today. This really resonated with the community.
Good night, everyone. I'm Carolina Shen, and I am the library's community engagement liaison. This is my second year serving as the opioid consultant. So once again, proactive outreach was another fundamental aspect of OVOB. Since last year's success, our objective was to continue building meaningful connections with our community partners, making OVOB more visible, more accessible to everyone in the community. This year's community partnerships allow us to connect with local agencies and nonprofits, such as the Northwest Agency, the Northwest Center Against Sexual Assault, and the Village Arlington Heights, the Park District, and WITS. We have the honor to have these organizations not only join and participate at some of our events, but they were also hosting research tables where people in our community were able to learn and have access and understand some of these services. These active level of engagement boost our community impact and also reshape the way that we address sensitive topics such as intergenerational trauma. These seasons, we hosted 6 community outreach events around our village, and 2 community partner stations happened at some of our partner sites. Leaders and staff members of these organizations share how many of these aspects of the 2 lives of Sarah relate to their daily jobs. And on top of that, also share that how much they enjoy reading a book that would usually be their first choice. During our community events, we distributed giveaways. Some of you received this at the beginning of the season. With these, we engaged over 900 visitors at our tables. We love to see people connecting with us, coming to our outreach events. By creating a package of recipes inspired by the book and the dry wrap, we really felt that we were giving a little taste of Arlington Heights to everyone. We want to thank our very own Chef Brian for taking on that task and the leadership of creating those 2 things. We had over 60 subscribers registered to our vinyl raffle that had some of the music of the artists in the book. Customers shared the excitement to know that if they win these vinyls, they don't need to own a record player, since we have some at the Library of Things, so they can just use the library card.
My name is Neil Parker. I'm a programs and exhibit specialist here, co-lead with Sherry this year. As Catalina said, this year's One Book allowed the Arlington Heights Memorial Library to really make solid and sustaining relationships with significant partners in the community. In addition to all of the outreach and book discussions that were a part of One Book, my department, P&E, hosted 17 programs. For this year's One Book, we really wanted to go big and plan impactful and far-reaching programs. So, the biggest one for here outside of Catherine's visit would be the One Book Barbecue, which drew 325 attendees. This was over at Rack Park. We partnered with the Arlington Heights Park District for this one. The barbecue featured food, games, music from DJ Jill Hopkins, and the most popular draw of all, the Jesse White Tumblers. We are truly lucky to have such wonderful trustees here, and I'm not blowing smoke. You guys were at the barbecue, you were at book discussions, and you were at our author event, and that's just so wonderful and supportive. So we are eternally grateful for that. We also did some service projects, a no-soap blanket service project with Project Linus. We had our first in-person sound opinions that focused on the civil rights movement and the sounds of Memphis. That's our first one since the pandemic. We did a program on Martin Luther King and his years in Memphis, his last year in Memphis, a postpartum depression program. We did 2 culinary programs influenced by the food of the two lives thereof, amongst many other programs. And of course, our programming culminated with Catherine's visit to the Forest View Theater, where she was in conversation with WBEZ's own Natalie Moore. The author event itself included 180 attendees, plus 87 virtual attendees watching and streaming on YouTube. And as you can see, We've got the survey results up there. Her visit was incredibly well received, and it ranked a 4.9 out of 5 out of our unique survey that we sent to the attendees. And since Catherine's visit, I'm gonna update that number there. We've had over 385 folks who have watched her appearance at M2 since yesterday, Monday, December 18th, when I checked. A significant number I do want to acknowledge is that 85% of the attendees to Catherine's visit were new to OBOB this year, and that this shows that even after 10 years, we continue to draw a new audience. OBOB continues to find new readers. And anecdotally, the attendees this year were younger, and it was a much more diverse group than previous years. I won't read all of these quotes, but they're there for you. I do want to highlight the third and then the last quote here. So this was an astounding year of activities attached to the 2023 OBOB choice. We know it took a lot of work from many of the HML staff, but we did every single one that we were able to attend. We hope OBOB will continue forever. And then the last quote, thank you so much for selecting this author's work. I appreciate the diversity, the volume and variety of events sponsored, phenomenal, well done.
So book discussion. We had 143 people attend 10 various book discussions throughout the initiative. These discussions took place virtually, in person, and throughout our community. We did a Beyond the Book discussion at the Maker Place, where we decoupaged a recipe box and swapped family recipes while discussing the book. That's a lot of fun. We also had 2 senior and accessibility service discussions, and then our very own Catalina led an enlightening ESL discussion where attendees touched on how immigrants have or live 2 lives, one that is their authentic culture and upbringing, and one that is rooted in their new home and the American culture, and how this aligns with Sarah and the book. They connected on how we always have to leave something behind and embrace a new life of hopes and expectations. We love how the book was able to connect with all of our members of the community. This combination of in-library, in the community, and virtual events ensures that we reach as many community members as possible. And beyond our library discussions, we were able to provide a set of books to 27 various book clubs in our community. So those are people who have their own private book clubs. And we continue to attract many of our established book clubs. We have a list we send out, and in that list, we had half of the people that participated have participated in 5 or more years of doing OBOB book clubs. So that's significant, as well as we're bringing new book clubs into our fold, and about 1/3 of the book clubs that participated this year were brand new to OBOB. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is William Tolan, and I'm a communications and marketing specialist. So our promotion for this year's One Book kicked off on Friday, August 25th. This included launching our website, social media, an article and spread in our September newsletter, an in-library display, and a constant contact email that went out to our subscribers, which was opened more than 2,000 times and had a 53% open rate. And just as a side note, our constant contact emails throughout the duration of OBOB had very strong and consistent numbers that we were very happy with. Just to talk a little bit about our website, ahml.info/onebook. This was viewed 642 total times this year. As in previous years, as we all know, a lot of work goes into creating this page. It serves as the place to go for anyone who's looking to learn more about One Book, One Village, whether you're trying to place a hold on the book or register for an event. And just a couple highlights that were included on the page. This year we had an Explore More section where we compiled many resources for people who wanted to learn more about the history and the context behind the book. And new to this year, we also had a Listen and Learn page where we put together a Spotify playlist that included every single song that was mentioned in the 2 Lives of Sarah. So that was pretty cool. And moving on to our social media now. Just in general this year, we saw that our numbers had a significant increase compared to last year, which was just really cool to see. This year, we had more than 14,000 engagements across our platforms, Facebook, X, and Instagram. And that's compared to last year's 4,570 engagements. And when I say engagements, I'm referring to any direct interaction that someone has with a social media post. So that would be a like, a comment, a share, a click, or a video view. And one aspect of our social media promotion that I think is worth highlighting this year was that we had the opportunity to develop a few very strong social media partnerships with several Chicago-based Instagram accounts, or as they would say, Bookstagram. These accounts combined have more than 10,000 followers, and they were completely on board with helping us promote and spread the word about One Book, One Village, and using their platforms to really uplift Catherine and her event. Like, they were very excited to take part in that. And when you look at that, and then also all of the social media promotion that Catherine is doing herself, and even Natalie Moore, you could really say that that really helped expand our reach online. And also, I think it's safe to say that word about One Book, One Village definitely went beyond Arlington Heights this year. And now, we can talk about the costs.
So thankfully, the total cost sort of put us squarely in the middle of where we've been over the past 10 years. The total cost for OBOV in 2023 was $39,863.94, of which $6,000 was graciously funded by Arlington Heights Memorial Library's Friends of the Library. Their generosity throughout the years has had a profound effect on One Book, and the team and I very much want to thank them and express our infinite gratitude to them for all of their support. And here are some pictures of the author night as well as our kickoff. I also would be remiss if I did not shout out our graphics department for their amazing work, the backdrop for Catherine's visit, and the OBOV display at the library. Absolutely gorgeous, and we just, honestly appreciate all of their creativity and the hard work that they do in that department.
These are examples of our presence in the community. Once again, we can show that we can be in different parts of town. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Fabulous job, as always. I mean, I just don't know how you do more every year. I really particularly thought you did such strong outreach, and that's such a big part of our strategic plan for the library. So that is exactly what we want to see, getting out into different communities. And it's amazing to me that 85% of those people were first time at, for that's really interesting, because I think I've been there every time. I also really thought having Natalie Moore as the person that interviewed Catherine was really terrific, because there was a nice back and forth, and she didn't just like say, oh, it was a great book, we loved it. Like, she sort of challenged her on things that readers were challenged, found challenging about the book in their discussion. So I thought Natalie was really phenomenal, and that was a really interesting combination. So, I mean, kudos to everyone. Whoever wrote the comment, does everyone get involved? Well, they do, because if they're not directly working on it, they're doing something else at the library that, is serving other people. And, I think it showed a great effort in the community, but also within the library staff. So thank you. Greg?
I did. Yeah, it echo a lot of what Amy just said. Congratulations on another great year. I sat here through all 10 of these years, listening to these presentations, and it grows every year. What you're talking about, Wayne, the outreach to the book community, to get them to put it out. Those are the type of things every year. That's fun to see what you guys come up with next. But what I always really like about these books is they always get me out of my comfort zone. I'm a sci-fi and a biography reader. Those are the two genres that I go to. And I always look forward to this every year, because it's something a little bit different, that I didn't expect. And they're always good, and they're always great books. And it's good to hear all the new things. So one question I have asked every year, and I'm always kind of putting you guys on the spot a little bit. what did you get out of this that you think you're gonna carry into next year? You kind of looked at it saying, hey, this is an area that we want to tweak and we actually want to get a little bit better. Have you gone into that kind of thought process?
For me personally, I think it was the new attendees to Forest View, which was very promising. I know that as part of our strategic plan, we're looking to hit that younger audience. We're looking to hit maybe a more diverse audience. And I think that we see it with this book and we saw it with Catherine during the visit. Obviously, all of the communications, the interactions on social media help with that and help to push it. The work that Catalina does, the community help that as well. And then, of course, Sherry and the advisors do a wonderful job with the book discussion. So for me, that is kind of my point. That's something I think, that I would like to continue to target.
Okay, very good. Well, great job. And yeah, the whole library is involved. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that that's something that we wanna continue, carrying that community component, with OBOB and allowing everyone to join and be part of it, even if it's through a conversation, through an outreach event, through a culinary program, anything that can just like get them involved and get to know about these amazing library-wide programs that we have once a year. Finding the new audience, I think, is important, and to Carolina's point, we have, sometimes you have to reshuffle or change the path during it, and one of the things with the discussions this year, we realized the first ESL discussion, no one showed up or nothing, and then we thought, well, that community may not really find a connection to this book or read, but how can we connect it? And she did it, like I said, she just was able to pivot and said, let's find a way that these people are immigrants and they had to migrate, they had to move, and take that aspect of the book. So maybe not the entire book is always going to find a audience, but you can find parts that find an audience. And I think that's a learning thing of when we choose books, when we look, it doesn't have to necessarily all apply to one audience. If you find parts and you find your people, you keep reaching for different parts.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations, guys. It's great event again.
I think you guys did a great job taking the different facets of the book and being able to, like you were just talking about, integrate it with the, foreigners that are new to our country or learning English, as a second language, and to people who may be feeling or have felt in the past maybe alienated or just not part of what we do here. And so I think you guys did a tremendous job including those maybe peripheral sort of populations that maybe sometimes don't feel included, and just did a really great job of really looking at all those facets and applying them in different ways. So it was really beautifully done. Great job.
I was also go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also thought it was great. I know you can't always do this, but it was great to have like a local. Love that. I loved it so much that her dad was in the audience. It was delightful.
He got the seasoning, he got the rods. He was so excited to take that home.
I made a new friend.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very powerful because even though the book doesn't take place in Chicago, well, it starts here, but most of it is in Memphis. The fact that we were supporting and that this library would be the platform of a local author, it was really impactful in our community and for readers around everywhere.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the outreach, I love it. I wonder if maybe next year we can find a way to get the bookmobile more involved, just because we're fundraising for that next year. And I don't know, that it reaches parts of town that we don't always get to. And
to that, I want to say that at almost all of the outreach events that we had, the bookmobile was at big times.
right.
So the bookmobile was present during farmer market pop-ups. The bookmobile was present at Harmony Fest when we interacted with a lot of people in town. And it's a great tool to have with us because we can do the speed checkouts of the book. So we have some copies there ready to go for people to be checking on the book.
Nice.
So the bookmobile is like
Yeah.
a really useful tool for us in terms of OBO. We really love collaborating.
I do have one question, and I could probably look it up, but how much time is there between the announcement of the OBOB book title, and all that, to when we have our first event, what if it's a discussion or a cooking thing, or like, what does that timeline look like?
The whole initiative is 11 weeks. So from the start of when we announced the book to the end, it's 11 weeks. And so in that 11 weeks, I would say for book discussion wise, we normally do at least 3 weeks to 4 weeks. So we try to have one at the very end of the first month because we do want to have multiple ones and get the book in as many hands as we can. But also providing opportunities for people to do it virtually or in person or out in the community. So I would say for book discussions, it's about 3 to 4 weeks after the announcement. Now, the book clubs they get it earlier than that. So that way with 27 book clubs, you have to be able to get that out to as many people. So we start earlier. So they often get to our lovely collection department that hurries up. We process the books for us. That's normally about, I think, August 1st, which is a whole month before. So, and then programs wise.
Programs start when we can get the program scheduled.
When the centers are available. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, wonderful.
I do have a copy, sorry, of our presentation for all of you too, that way you want to do it. Yeah, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll give you that, please. You want to ask me? I'll go ahead.
No doubt.
All right, thank you so much. That's always a highlight to hear all the good things that happen around our One Book, One Village initiative. So moving on, we need to approve the minutes of our regular board meeting from November 21st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And now we would like to review the financial report for the period ending November 30th.
Okay. On the revenue side, our real estate tax revenue totaled $2,071,093.61 for the month of November. Copier printer revenue totaled $3,567.47. Lost item charges totaled $855.76. November interest income was $24,877.37. Our donations totaled $762.96. The Friends of the Library reimbursed us $74,687.71, and a majority of this was for the Hendrickson Room AV equipment. Other income was $5,455.36, and most of that was from an incentive payment received through ComEd this month for participating in its energy efficiency program since we replaced our parking lot lighting with LED. Revenue collected for vehicle stickers totaled $264. Makerspace miscellaneous revenue was $725.99. And our total revenue collected in November was $2,182,445.23. On the expense side, 92% of the fiscal year has lapsed, and we have expensed 83% of our total operating budget. Our favorable variance to date is $1,463,204. 46% of the total annual capital budget has been expensed as of November. This month, we did have a number of payments for various projects, including the Kids World redesign, which is just about complete, the lockers and the parking lot lighting. And as a reminder, the chillers and cooling towers project will largely be delayed to the 2024 budget year due to delay in manufacturing. We did have a question about the makerspace budget line. In the contractual services line, it's over budget by $4,318.25. That was due to a couple of issues that we had with the HVAC over at the Maker Place this year that were not expected. So it's going to take us a couple of budget cycles to really find a pattern for over there and what we'll be needing to budget for that building. But I do want to point out that, we will be obviously well under budget overall. And, to partially offset that overage, the Maker Place Management expects to maintain favorability in its programming accounts. That really should be made up.
Wonderful. I'm sure you know this question is gonna be asked. When do we think we're getting more of our real estate taxes?
That is an excellent question.
It's Tracy.
There's Tracy. I knew that part was coming.
So the numbers that Mike's reporting on tonight are November, through the
Right.
month of November.
Yeah.
So I touched base with the village, if the property taxes flow from residents through the county, through the village, and our commingled bank accounts, and then to our books, we take book that. They do expect to book, a lot more in December. And as you see, we're already getting some in November, and the second bill, I think, was mailed on November first. We do December first. So it's just a matter of weeks, I would say, not months, that from the time, they pay or their banking institutions pay to when it hits our books. So more in December, and then throughout the audit process, I will say, as we get more, that's still booked in the 2023 year, the auditors are watching more coming in. We'll book it.
Good, wonderful. And I did want to mention for our audience tonight that the Arlington Heights, library has not had a tax increase in a very long time. We did not increase our levy this year. And we're very proud of that. And our levy goes through the village. So you would see all of our numbers in the village, books. With that, may I have a motion to, or you want to go through the check register first? But
Okay, a couple questions on the check register. On page 2, check 101684 to Harper College in the amount of $823.50. That is a prepaid cost to secure Harper College as a location for the library's 2024 Staff Day event, where all the staff are invited to listen to speakers, hear important library updates from administration and library committees, and participate in training and team building. So we're moving it over to Harper this year. On page 11, check 101637 to the Arlington Heights Memorial Library. These are American Express charges. One is $75 and the other one is $90. Those are annual fees and cashback program membership fees for each of the 6 AMX cards held by library staff. So we take in a net amount of approximately $700 in revenue from the cashback incentive, even after factoring in these fees. Finance is planning to explore and evaluate other no annual fee credit cards as early as next year, along with assessing potential use of purchase cards, which can interface with the new Munis system with the village, in case those alternatives would return a greater amount to the library or increase efficiencies in our current processes. And on page 14, check 101652 to Brown Electric Service Incorporated in the amount of $13,296. That is payment for the installation of the LED lights in our parking lot. This project also resulted, as I mentioned before, in our facilities team applying for and receiving an incentive program payment from ComEd in the amount of $3,169.36.
Sorry to interrupt, Mike, but that's the actual lot, not the lot outside, or is it the underground?
No, the underground, we upgraded that lighting about 5 or 6 years ago when we did the parking lot or the garage project. This was a replacement of the overhead and the large heads at the top of the poles. Yeah, so we were able to swap those heads out from, I think they were mercury vapor bulbs or something like that, to the LED.
Okay.
Okay, on page 17, check 101631 to Amazon in the amount of $84.85. That was for a bucket of weird or miscellaneous supplies for various Kids World programming, including squishy animals, stress balls, mini rubber duckies, mini hand puppets, and an iron for perler bee projects and food prep gloves. So weird objects. Those were all the questions I had for the check register.
very good. Okay, now I will entertain a motion to approve our check register.
I'll make a motion to approve the check register for Arlington Heights Memorial Library, November 30th, 2023, for $1,946,000 $1,677.53.
You have a second?
A second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Burrell,
Yes.
trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Gould,
Yes.
trustee Zick,
Yes.
president Samari.
Aye. Very good. All right, executive director's report.
Alrighty. We'll go through a few things from the director's report. Starting on the first page, a business outreach event at the Maker Place. Our business services advisor, Diane Malik, partnered with the Maker Place to host an outreach event for the Arlington Heights Manufacturing Education and Advocacy Program. 42 attendees were business owners and managers in the manufacturing industry, as well as members of the Village of Arlington Heights Economic Alliance Board, Arlington Heights School District Apprenticeship Program, and the IMEC, the Inter-University Microelectronics Center, an organization offering manufacturing grants. Something else I want to mention about Diane Malik, she was nominated for Member of the Year for the Chamber, through the Chamber of Commerce. So she will be, yeah, fantastic. So she will be mentioned at the upcoming installation dinner and possibly, win that nomination. So there's, I think, 3 other people nominated for that. All right, then on the next page, the tag and tab craft placemats for Meals on Wheels. The Tween Advisory Group and Teen Advisory Board collaborated on a shared project at their respective November meetings. Both groups used foam pieces to weave and decorate Thanksgiving placemats. Nearly 100 carefully created placemats were donated to Meals on Wheels participants in Wheeling Township during the week of Thanksgiving. Extra placemats were given to those who participate in the lunch program at the Arlington Heights Senior Center. Then at the bottom of the page, Saturday morning in November, library staff participated in the Harper Experience Day. It's an annual free community event that is designed to ease uncertainties of students and families that have not had exposure to the college experience. Staff brought hands-on activities and inspiration to 235 participants. Then on page 3, the Veterans Tree Exhibit in Partnership. Our programs and exhibits staff partnered again with the local nonprofit Salute, Inc. to celebrate local veterans with a unique community-generated exhibit. Our P&E specialists worked with Salute to create the framework for this participatory display with companion events. Graphics supervisor Brian Benson designed the Veterans Tree, which debuted November 1st. That night, 39 veterans and their family members stopped by and made personalized ornaments for the tree featuring photographs of their veteran. Second decorating event was held on Sunday, November 12th, when the library hosted the Erlingtones for an afternoon concert and reception. And throughout its stay on the floor, the tree featured 56 ornaments, and Eileen Dady featured this community-generated exhibit in partnership on Suburban Talk. Suburban Talk. And on that same page, 80 Minutes Around the World, Immigration Stories. Programs and exhibit staff hosted Nestor, the boss Gomez, and his handpicked team of storytellers for an amazing night of storytelling. Nestor curates 80 minutes around the world to feature stories of immigrants, refugees, asylum seekers, and their descendants and allies. Each storyteller brought a unique perspective to the event. The storytellers mixed humor with real-life issues related to immigration. Some were hilarious, while others were heartbreaking, yet each packed a powerful message. All right, then on page 4, 150 attendees enjoyed another terrific Sunday musicale. The Covington crew played a diverse set with a wide range of styles. At the time of recording, the 2023 Sunday musicale season has wrapped up and reached an incredible 1,013 attendees over 10 shows. It remains one of the highest attendance series the library offers annually, with thanks to funding from the Friends of the Library, who have renewed their commitment to sponsoring the Sunday musicale in 2024. All right, then on page 6, the Thanksgiving sides with Chef Grace. Chef Grace Gowdy held 4 sessions of her popular Thanksgiving sides class during November. A total of 35 student chefs attended on Sunday, November 12th, and 34 on Tuesday, November 14th. In each class, neighbors worked together to learn 4 recipes ready for the holiday table. Grace is always a wealth of information and helps attendees prepare to successfully make her recipes at home. Then the next one down, the monthly partnerships with pad sites, meal makers at the Maker Place. Staff celebrate another successful month getting hands in the Maker Place kitchen to cook meals for Journey's residents using pads, sites, locations in Arlington Heights. The community meal makers enjoyed making enchiladas, salad, dessert, and packing brown bag lunches, all delivered to the First Presbyterian Church. The 16 participants expressed gratitude to be able to help with this cause and were inspired to try these recipes at home. And then at the bottom, I just want to mention that this month, the Maker Place Kitchen reached a new record high in attendance at culinary events. A total of 237 attendees were in the kitchen in November. Right, on page 7, the craft swap. On Sunday, November 19th, the Maker Place hosted its first craft swap. Customers who donated materials received an early admission ticket for the day of the craft swap. As materials were collected, staff worked with volunteers to sort and organize them. Thousands of amazing items were donated, including more than 100 sewing patterns, bolts of fabric, scrapbooking supplies, art supplies, sewing supplies, embroidery and fiber crafting supplies, storage containers, tools, and everything between. On the morning of the swap, customers with tickets lined up outside the Maker Place waiting for the doors to open. 77 customers attended, with 60 of them entering as part of early admission. At the close of the day, remaining items were boxed up and donated to local charities, Greener Good in Palatine and Waste Shed in Evanston. And that is everything I have for the director's report. Any questions?
If I could, just real quickly, looking through these numbers, the dashboard, I know 2020 year, we're still kind of coming out of everything, but just fantastic how the circulation is coming up. The one thing that always, I want to say this actually last month, but that graph at the bottom, the total checkouts, that starts like right in the heart of the whole COVID time. But what we did to be able to keep those numbers going. I still, even though that's 3 years ago now, or about 3 years ago now, it's still incredible. Whenever I see those type of numbers, what's going on here. And then when you mentioned, and I'm glad you said it, at page 6, the program, you told 237 attendees were in the kitchen. And that's always the one we said it before in this meeting, that was always the one area where people were always kind of like, oh, come on, we need more classes. Is that number because we are getting more programs? So the programs are increasing?
Yeah, they've been increasing the programs. Dana, do you want to speak to this?
Specific numbers about the kitchen, but yeah, we've had a very robust, we've increased, I think 6 to 8 programs per month in addition to what we've been doing.
Okay.
And it happens like we had a couple cancellations in November too, and we were still able to get those many people. So, and we had some construction, if you remember, the windows too, so that kind of put a damper on some of the programs. So all are effective, but we're still doing great. Amount of programs and the people in the door. So we're still really proud of the numbers.
Okay, yeah, it's still the one thing I hear every once in a while is, more culinary classes. So those are obviously the popular ones.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say 2 things. I harp on this, but our executive director, the community can look at your report every month if they scroll down a little bit on the website. I think it would be great to have a way for someone just to click on the front page to say, hey, what's going on at the library this month? Because I think a lot of us, you can get into a conversation where someone says, wow, the library has a lot of books, and it's so much more than that. And I just want to make sure people know that you can read all the minutes from all of our meetings, see all the executive director's reports from years online. But we just did a new strategic plan, and I just kind of wanted to refresh my memory as you're reading this. Goal 1, strengthen the library's service outside its walls. Your report certainly indicates we're doing that. Grow the use of our services and resources. Clearly we're doing that. And enhance the library's role in the everyday lives of the Arlington Heights community. So I think that, what's going on at the library certainly speaks to those 3 primary goals. And I think as long as we keep those in our forefront, we will continue to be as successful as you've been. So thank you for that.
And just to speak to the director's report and make it more accessible, we are internally looking at a new format for that to make it a little bit more enticing for people to read through it. So Dana's kind of heading up, looking at a different platform to build that on, and something that we can, post somewhere,
Right.
more prominent on the website.
Yeah.
Have
I mean,
a more
all the
public facing.
photos are terrific and we know what's going on, but it's still fun to see how the events that were planned actually go off and how many people, enjoy them and participate. So. Very good.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, yep. As long as we're talking about redesigning and formatting and stuff like that, this would be a great opportunity to introduce you guys to Sasha Vasila. He is our new Director of Communications and Marketing. Sasha started a few weeks ago and
Welcome.
very happy to have him.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Wonderful. All right, moving on to action item number 4, the Illinois State Library's Public Library per capita grant application.
Okay, so we've mentioned the per capita grants at the November Committee of the Whole meeting. We talked about the reading through the book, the required reading for the grant, the Serving Our Public 4.0 standards for Illinois Public Libraries. We have also gone through all the requirements throughout the book and have filled out the application, which is what you see in front of you, making comments as much as, reasonable for each of the chapters. So would love any feedback or anything before we submit. This is due January 30th. And then one new requirement this year is the certification that the library meets the 75 ILCS 10/8.7. This is the new book banning law that was put into effect. That is part of this new application. That is a new requirement, which we do meet. Any questions on it?
Yes, on chapter 3 personnel, where it says library salaries and fringe benefits account for slightly more than 70%, and it says the library is taking steps to meet the standard, but it doesn't clearly articulate what the standard is for it be 70%. I don't know.
Yeah,
what the
in
standard is.
the book, it states that 70% is kind of a guideline.
Okay, I kind of inferred that, but I wasn't sure if that was exactly what the number was. Thank you.
I had a question about, I guess it would be technically page 10, but it's kind of like the first page of the actual report. The core standards, chapter 1 was checked, but there wasn't an explanation. So I don't know if that was just missed, because I saw that chapter 7 was also checked and there was a short explanation. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to get rejected for some weird reason or something.
Good catch.
Nice job, trustee. All right,
Questions?
with that change, could I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Library Trustees approves the fiscal year 2024 Illinois Public Library per capita and equalization aid grant application.
Second?
Second?
Can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell,
Yes.
trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Rule,
Aye.
trustee Zick,
Yes.
president Samar.
Aye. All right. Kids World Refresh.
All right, so I have an update for you guys. I'm going to show you some pictures. And I'll let you know where we are with this. So as you guys know, we were looking to wrap this up the week of Thanksgiving. There was one hangup. Well, actually, there were two hangups that I'll talk about before I get into the pictures. The woodworking contractor had some issues, had to come out a couple of times with different measurements and stuff like that. And then came down with COVID, which would put things back a couple of weeks. And so there were a few things that were waiting on the entryway to be finished before we could complete. The flooring in the stack area, we held off on it until that new entrance was done, so the flow of traffic could come through there. So we couldn't really finish that up until the main entryway was completed. That was pushed back a little bit. Once we had the new entryway opened up, we then did the flooring, got the half wall put back together, all that's done. Really, the only things that are outstanding now are just a couple of minor things. There is the light as you walk into the entrance where the mural was. The light that is embedded in the ceiling, the manufacturer sent us the wrong one, and it's an 8-week lead time. And so they've been working on the new one. We're not expecting to see that until January 10th.
About the opening, is it first go? I know it's really dark in there.
Right, and the opening will have lighting in the archway, and so that is all, they're gonna come back and do that at the same time. I have asked our general to see if they could get the archway done first before they come back and do the other one. I don't really wanna wait that long for the other one to come in, so she's working with the contractor on that. But anyways, we'll go through this, and if you guys have specific questions on any of these elements, please stop me. I'm just gonna. Okay, so just to kind of keep the ideas fresh or the original renderings fresh, I'm going to show you these as we go, kind of what we were planning on. So that's the original entryway. We wanted the wood to match the existing wood in the library. We wanted that blue facade to kind of call it out as kind of kids area. And we wanted a clear path, visual path to the back wall with the light bright and the projection unit. And so here is the entryway. As Greg mentioned, it's a little dark because we don't have that lighting in yet. But that's what there's a couple of minor things that the millwork guy is working on still. The upholstery for the bench, the glass that's supposed to come in tomorrow. The upholstery I think is coming in tomorrow too. So this is just about wrapped up with the exception of those two things. But as you look into the space, it's hard to really see in this picture, but that light bright wall really draws the kids in. Just standing there and talking with what's that?
And the adults.
It does, it really does. I mean, that is like, the point of conversation as people are passing through that entryway is what's going on back there. It's really cool. So you can see the new lighting hanging up in the back there. Right here, that is that new kind of modern looking lighting. We have the new flooring in between space, and then this new entryway. The entryway is really beautiful. This was not my first pick for the entryway. I kind of like the one with the column and the lights. I thought it was really cool. But I think now that I see this in person, this is the one we definitely should have gone with. This was it fits our library very well. It fits the environment very well. The wood ties in nicely, but it's a very nice entryway in the kids' world. So I think it's a good combination of all the things we discussed and talked about. And then you can see the slot in the ceiling right here. That's where that flush lighting is going to go, which we're waiting on.
What kind of furniture is on the tile on the right?
We are going to have a couple of tables and a maker table, which is there already. Through here. And this is just a close up of the pattern in here. Obviously, you can't see that in the projection. So I wanted to show you what we ended up with for the pattern in the wallpaper. It's a extreme close up. This is just kind of showing the snack area, the change of location of the aquarium, and then our self checks here at the entryway. Note the lighting integrated into the ceiling that's not here in the new picture. We changed up the graphic a little bit. So in the original renderings, we were doing kind of like a hardline graphic. Our artist and the designer felt that a more organic feel was nicer. And so this was a product of Brian Benson, our graphic designer. This organic looking graphic appears on 3 of the walls. So this wall, the tween wall, and the wall in the back with the light bright.
Are they all purple, or is it like the same pattern but different colors?
It's same pattern, just different colors throughout. So all of those little decals are all different colors. It's the same style and colors in the other ones as well.
Was it like a stencil? I guess I
It's a stencil. Well, it wasn't a stencil. It was, these are all individually cut vinyl.
Oh, wow.
things.
Okay.
But then they brought in these large, it was on like a large vacuum paper,
Oh,
and they did, large segments of it at a time. It was really cool how they did it. So aquarium's moved, self-checks are in place, flooring is done. This wall over here is closed up again, so there's no longer our entryway. Here's just another shot of the self-checks. So. And then this is so this is obviously looking at the back wall. And here's what it looks like now. So, when we walk in, you see, this light brick wall. It's it. This projection system has been extremely popular as well. This is the first time I was able to get a picture without kids on it. But it's so cool. It's interactive. It attracts kids and adults. What we ended up doing with this is, the original plan was to lay down, like foam. It's like a real hard foam, floor with kind of like a pattern on it. This is what Naperville used. And, the flooring that we had originally planned on getting for it was no longer available. This is what Naperville had done. So what we ended up doing was doing a white tile. We took up the carpet in that spot and laid down tile, white tile. And so it is flush with the carpet. Nobody's gonna trip on it. And it looks really nice. It has a little bit of a pattern to it. So, scuffs aren't extremely apparent, but the reflectivity for the projector is fantastic. And then, of course, this space back here is very popular. In both of these spaces, ever since we turned them on, it's been like moths to a flame. It worked exactly like we anticipated. And then, the new light up here, that's just kind of a cool design element.
How tall is the light bright? I know it's not a light bright, but you.
I think it's about 4 feet tall.
I guess in my head, it was gonna be taller.
well, I think it's like, I was surprised because it's mounted lower than I expected, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, just when I walked up and saw it, I was like, this is tiny, but I was like, oh, it's just mounted.
There were many conversations about this when we mounted it, after we mounted it, even tweaking it a couple of inches and like deciding where that sweet spot was. We wanted it, to have that line of sight from the entryway, but we wanted to make it as usable as possible for the kids. And so we ended up, it's just about on the high end of the manufacturer's recommendations. So it's about a foot to 18 inches off the ground, somewhere in there. I don't remember where we ended up, but I think it works. The sofa that we have there is low enough where you can see the top half of it, from the entryway. And so I think it seems to be working very well for us.
Oh, and then you can see the decals on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, barely. So yeah, the details are there. And here's a picture with kids. It's so cool. Yeah, it's fun just to kind of watch how they use it, and kids clobber each other and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and right now it's just like balloons or balls there, and when you run through it, they scatter. But there's a bunch of different games you can get. There's like soccer and stuff like that. So it's really cool. We'll swap it out from time to time, but this has been very popular.
And then, Mike, is that on the ceiling? Is that the actual like
Right here?
projector? Yeah.
No, that is a wireless access point. So
Oh,
what we did with the projector is we mounted it above the tile, and then we cut just a small hole in the tile
Oh.
so the image could come through.
okay.
And then there's another device on the tile that senses the movement. And so that's all. I mean, you really don't even notice.
Can you send me the specs on that?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And how you mounted it with the white tile and everything?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. So this is our new Lindsay room. This is quite a departure from what it was. New floor, the tiles, so we can have messy programs in there. We do have little, Dana, how would you describe the items that we have for kids to sit on? Are they little carpets or like little seats? Yeah.
Cushions.
Yeah, so we do have little cushions for the kids and parents to sit on, when we do have those kind of programs like story time and stuff. A big addition was this sink, in this space. That was a little bit of a challenge with plumbing, but we have a pump in the closet to the right here that pumps it up and over. Tile backsplash, new colors throughout, and then the closet to the right on that orange wall, which was a huge addition for this team. So here's just a close-up of the thing, it's a drop thing. I knew you would like it, I was thinking, Andy's gonna love this.
There's no Andy to say.
Yeah.
Anything.
She's so easily pleased.
Right.
Simple things in life.
And just to point out that, we did end up replacing the lighting in this room. So you can see how bright this room is. This room, the lighting in here was fairly old. I don't know if you guys remember what it was, but it was round and it had like a center round thing that hung down. It was yellow plastic and it was really old and ugly and dim. Just fluorescent lamps. And we had a fair amount of contingency money available. So we ended up replacing the lights in this room and in the tween space.
Have you had classes in there since it's been done?
Yeah, they've been having programs.
And how has the reaction been?
Very good. I was talking to the staff the other day about it and they love it, so. And then this is the tween space. This space, we're kind of waiting for the, woodworker to move out of there before we populate the space, just because he's got his tools and stuff. But, this is the maker table. Our foundation purchased that. And, so that, is ready to go. And then notice a large graphic all the way across this entire wall. It's really cool.
Is that a bench on the right-hand side by the cone?
I'm sorry? Yes, that's a bench right there. So we're waiting on the upholstery for that. And then new lighting up here as well. And then, as an alternate on this project, we added, the 2 conference rooms for the, in the hub. So, what's kind of out of picture here is the second conference room. So this was kind of just like a little sofa space for the kids to hang out. This wall, this whole large wall was extended out about 4 feet from where it was originally. So this wall ended back here about where the light switch is. We ended up moving it out to line up for the door. So now there's a door in this, room. So it's now a conference room. And then we have this conference room and we added, the new tables in there. And, so perfect timing with, the,
Say that.
Yep. Yeah,
So this looks like a fishbowl, which is fine.
Yep.
Does the other one have as much glass on it?
It is less of a fishbowl. This side is drywall, but the other side is open, it's glass. And the service desk is just to the left out of frame here, so they can see right in that door. Thank you.
And then Mike, are these, do you have to reserve these or?
You know what, I'm not sure if they're doing reservations
Not
on
right
that.
now.
No,
Okay.
I think it's just
First
come,
come,
first served.
okay.
And then this is looking in, this is kind of unrelated to the rest of the project, but it is something that's still outstanding. And we decided that, we have, enough money left to replace this cork flooring, in the vending cafe. So we had this wall cut out as the entryway into Kids World. This floor has seen a lot of traffic and we've gotten a lot of comments about the condition of the floor. Since everyone was taking notice because this is the way they're coming in and out of Kids World. It just hasn't worn that well. And, so we're going to carry that, luxury vinyl tile that we have in the, Kids World, that kind of gray tile into this space. And so, so we moved the one vending machine, we're gonna move the other ones on Thursday, and then they'll be coming in next week to replace that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's in the budget.
That is, so we had $58,000 in contingency money for this project. We didn't use, I don't think we didn't use any of it on the construction. We did have a couple things that were more than expected. Signage was a little bit more than we had anticipated. The wall graphics were a little bit more than anticipated, but it cut into, we didn't have signage money. And it cut into our contingency a little bit, maybe a few $1,000s. And we had some furniture that may spill into that, but for the most part, we hardly used our contingency. So we ended up using the contingency money to replace the lighting in the room and the Lindsay room and the tween space, and then doing this floor. And we'll still be probably $25,000 under budget.
That's a good thing.
So, so we just have punch list items really on the project. They're just, really the millwork was the only thing that held us up. I feel like it is kind of hitting all of the points that we wanted to hit in the initial discussions. And I think it's gone really well.
I just want to say, I heard today a kid with a grandma and two kids, they looked through the space and said, ooh, can I go in there? We're going in there, like that was, even with it unfinished, we're still doing really great comments, that was really heartwarming.
Cool. Speaking to budget, just going back, I just want to point out a few things. We did a lot of paint work in this department. Originally, we were talking about not painting very much at all. We were just going to do a couple of walls. That was a huge undertaking that our facility staff did.
Wow.
That was.
I love all the
that
colors.
Yeah, they look great.
It's nice.
Our designer and the designer for the architectural firm really laid out a new palette that worked well with the existing carpet, so we didn't have to replace that. And, looks nice in the department. And our team, our facilities team did a phenomenal job, doing all that. They also moved all of the staff. So as you guys know, remember, a major portion of this renovation was just a reorganization of everything. And if you bring out movers to move all of these and try to schedule it in phases as we're doing this stuff, it is extremely expensive. Our facilities team did all of it before we opened, and they did a phenomenal job. So they have saved us a ton of money, just in those two things. In addition, they also helped with anything that they could, to help keep costs down, just like even mounting the projector and stuff like that. That was all things that, would have been small add-ons, but it all adds up and chips away at our contingency. But they did a phenomenal job helping us out and taking care of that stuff.
Mike sent me this picture, and I think you had one more picture of this too.
Yes.
Didn't you? You could send, yeah, you sent those to me.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna someone do this.
We're redoing our early learning center and taking out the climber.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Stop.
It's seen its day.
Yeah. Well, in picking the features that we selected, we had looked at other libraries and, looked at what features they had and which things are like, we don't want to touch, the Lego wall or stuff like that. We liked the light bright that we saw at another library, but we didn't want the one with the pegs. And, a lot of these things we really thought about, and these were really the two big ones that we felt these are going to make an impact. These are the things that kids are really going to like. And I think that we've seen so far in the time that we've had them that it's really.
How did this compare to the one at Barrington Library?
It's the projection system is very similar.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, we even have like the fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The koi pond.
You just have to keep the floor. Last time I was at Barrington, it was a while ago, but there's a lot of stuffs on the floor and it kind of takes away from it.
That
So,
thing? And that thing?
yeah.
So,
And then so you see the fish and the scuff marks, so you do have to, it's high maintenance, but
And this is.
it is fun.
Yeah, so this is a commercial tile, like a 1 inch square, 1 foot square commercial tile with kind of it's maybe like a
Maybe
semi-gloss.
better than what
finish.
Barrington
Yeah.
used.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Barrington, I think, used what Naperville used, and Naperville was not happy with theirs.
Oh, okay.
I think they ended up replacing.
Yeah, but send me the specs on
So
that.
I'll send that.
And
Yeah, and this
see
was
what our
probably
staff
less
thinks.
expensive than the
Yeah.
foam stuff.
What I like about this is it's inclusive.
Mhm.
So differently abled populations, especially children who are still learning, maybe are delayed or whatever, like they can still be on the floor and engage in this,
That's right. So you
right?
don't, you don't have to climb anything, or be a certain height, or get on something.
Not
or
just have to worry about swallowing Legos or chewing on things, but it's still something that's,
Well, to speak to your point, two things that I didn't mention in here, because it's really hard to get pictures of, is the wellness room and the all-gender restroom. And those look very nice, and those are complete also. That really speaks to the inclusive side of things as well, having that wellness room where you can go in and it's, you're free of all the sensory things going on around you.
Well, it's like large motor skills, fine motor
Yeah,
skills.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've worked with City of Support and other organizations like that, that speak to our children that are growing and developing and not always at the same pace and in the same way that another child is. So I think it's really great that we have some inclusivity and, kids don't notice those things. It's us adults that are like, what's wrong with your kid?
Right.
Not that we ever say that, I mean, we shouldn't.
One more question, Mike, for the, insects?
Yes.
Little house.
Those right here, yeah.
Yeah, did those have, is there like a table in one of them?
There is a, I can't remember, I think this is the Lego table right now.
It's like magnet tiles in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
We're gonna, put an interactive feature on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
yeah, we
okay.
just haven't put it right now.
Gotcha.
Any more questions or anything? Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously it's great and it's a lot of fun to play with already. I suggest everybody get down there and play with it. But, with doing all this, and obviously it's the aesthetics of it and there's some good things about it, are we going to be doing anything else? I was just kind of looking at some of the program numbers and things like that right now. Are we going to do anything to, especially with the Lindsay room, to maybe use that room even more and have even more functions in there?
More sort of thing. And I don't know, Dana, do you know if Trixie has
There's a
anything?
ton of programming in there, so I'm not sure if more, what is it, what you're asking me for more, we definitely do way more now because we have the same and things like that, but I'm not sure.
I'm just wondering, you know, can we use this to actually grow the services, to grow what we're doing with the community and the kids even more? I mean, obviously, we're gonna have a lot more, especially this first few months, we're gonna have a lot of people down there just playing and doing whatever. But what can we do to even bring even more people, you know?
Well, so with this, the sink and the flooring there now, we can move some of the programs that we either held off on having or would not have as frequently because they're messy, like some of the art programs and stuff like that. We can move those into the Lindsay room. We would have them in Hendrickson room. We would set up a tarp and it was, you know, it was a very different situation. Now that we have this, we can move and have those programs much more frequently. And then with the tween space, you know, that's going to draw, that's kind of building that audience, kind of like what we did with the hub 10 years ago or 12 years ago. Building that audience and having the maker table there and stuff, that programming is going to develop more. And whether it's passive programming or active programming, that's going to, I think what you're asking is now with these new areas, can we develop new programming and more programming along these lines? And I think the answer is yes.
Can we get the library visits up even more?
Right, you know, right.
If you look at the data or the dashboard for programs, children is up from last year. It's,
Yep.
you know, 94%. So we've had quite a substantial amount of increased programming for the children. So that's not a problem. People are coming in regardless. Throughout construction, we've been open with this. And you didn't mention that the baby garden is so very popular and beautiful area. We also have that, what is the name of the family planning or the family workstation? We're not gonna be putting in the children's room or the kids' world. We're gonna be moving into a different section where it's like a crib with a workstation, so a mom.
Oh, you got that, yeah.
It's not really working in the space the way it was designed before. We're kind of using it as an extension of the baby garden, so we're looking at other places to make that more family friendly place. If you're on your working on a recipe or something on the computer and have your kids with you, so they're contained. So
Yeah,
different
I saw those
features
at the
that I
show,
think will
okay,
highlight,
anyway.
like, special
They're cool.
features, but
Exactly. That's
I think we're doing good people at the doors for children.
And I think, you know, this gives us a very good marketing opportunity as well. Having an open house or grand opening or something where, you know, we can pull people in, show them this new space, bring them back to Arlington Heights if they've been going to other libraries for those kids' programs, because we are better equipped now than we were before for the different types of programming. So.
I know that the preschool information night is a big draw here. I feel like that's maybe January, February. And that would be a wonderful time to be able to show this off too, because a lot of times that preschool information night is sort of first, it's the parent's oldest child who is turning 3 or just turned 3. And so they're trying to figure out where to send them to preschool. So that might be a really nice chance to show off what we have to that audience.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, we're having our kickoff January 8th. Excuse me, I don't know the exact time, but we are planning on having a celebration. All the kids are still out of school. For Christmas break.
Any other questions? Okay, I
No.
highly encourage you to
Yeah.
check it out anyway.
That's terrific.
In fact, I'd be happy to walk around with you guys and give you a personal tour.
All right. New business. Any new business?
No, we had done the big grand book.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So other,
Okay, other, any other? I have an other, Stacy and Sarah and I went to the, Illinois Library Association sort of legislator meetup breakfast, and they, we heard from the, lobbyist, and a lot of, people were there, some legislators, sometimes they're staffers. So I grabbed your handout. Oh, Stacy probably had it, but, I thought it was interesting. It sounded like in the past, there were a lot more issues that they were focused on, and now, he said, wow, look, we only have 4 big bullet points, so. That's kind of what they're looking at in terms of the library world. And that is it. Yeah,
That's right, you have one other.
okay.
I want to let you guys know that the locker is now installed down in the core entrance on the north side. So if you're exiting the library out that side, you can check that out. Or no, I'm sorry. So south side?
Elevator,
Yeah,
that those doors.
Yeah, north side.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, so when you walk out, if you're walking toward like the handicap spaces in the underground garage, you'll see it to the right there. So we just had it installed. We are, staff are training on it now. The manufacturer's coming back, I believe, next week to continue training on it. With them, then they'll be working up to procedures and probably make it live sometime in January or February. Look like cameras up there. There's a camera on it. It's kind of above about where the stop sign is. So it's a nice front view.
Who's the manufacturer?
It's DTEC.
Oh, DTEC, good, yeah, they're good.
It's very nice, very nice system.
Did that just go in like?
Just went in Monday.
Oh, right.
Was that yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Really? Today's only Tuesday.
Yeah, Christmas is next month.
I know. It's crazy.
All right.
That's all.
At this point, I would like a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
So moved.
Oh, wait, I guess I gotta say the whole thing.
You have to say the whole thing.
Okay, I move that we go into closed session in accordance with 5 ILCS 120/2C1 to review executive director's performance goals.
Second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
We have a recess.
Yeah, and when I first was meeting her, I said, I sent her an email, I said, you know, hi Medina, you know, and I said, and oh my gosh, and
To be fair, I'm
she
looking
said, that's
versus
okay.
Kelly.
Well,
I need a motion to come back into open session for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library Board of Trustees on December 19th, 2023.
So moved.
So moved. All in favor?
No, second.
Second?
Oh, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are back in open session. I need a motion to announce the, well, so I just want to take a minute to, I want to take a minute to thank our executive director for a terrific year. We've had, some great success this year with the library, and that is due in very large part to your leadership. We had a member of the executive team retire, and under your leadership, we hired a terrific new staff member who I think is really going to bring some great ideas and work really well with the staff that we have. We heard tonight earlier how the One Book, One Village program was so exceptional this year, and how many people, virtually the entire staff, worked to make that happen. In reviewing your goals that we all agreed upon earlier in the year, it's apparent that you met them all. And a particular note is always the financial goal. I think every one of the trustees wants to make sure that we're spending our residents' dollars in really smart ways. And we do that here, and we've come under budget once again. We have increased access to our library services. We are out in the community in so many ways, which your executive director report shows every month. I think that this year has been a particularly strong year in building a good work environment. You know, many of us attended staff day and different conferences, and seeing how hard and how well the staff work together is really wonderful. So, you know, you're meeting all our goals, so we're really proud of that, and we're most proud of the fact that in the survey that the Village of Arlington Heights did with its residents, the library is the number one, you know, it's the number one attraction in town. So kudos to you and kudos to your staff. And now I would like a motion to offer a salary increase for Mike's compensation for the 2024 fiscal year.
I move that the executive director's salary be increased to 4% for fiscal year 2024, effective January 1, in accordance with the
Library law.
whatever that thing we did, but I guess.
All right, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, let's take a roll call, please.
Trustee Burrell,
Yes.
trustee Kelly,
Aye.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Rule,
Aye.
trustee Zick,
Yes.
president Smart.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, and now, just under the gun, before the library closes officially for the day, I would like,
Yeah, we're gonna do a motion to approve the closed session minutes.
oh, okay, a motion to approve the closed session minutes.
So moved.
So moved, all in favor?
Give me a second.
Yes.
Wait,
Need a second?
Second. Can I second? I don't know, am I allowed to
You
second?
can second. You can
All in
second.
I wrote it, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And now I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting for this evening.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.